I want to share with you guys today how I fired my record label. I was independent for many years, then I got signed to a label, and then I decided to go independent. And this is my man Jackson. My name's Chris, also known as Manifest. I'm a full-time rock artist, and I've been doing music now since 2001. I quit my job to do music full-time in about 2004, 2005. I got married, and then quit my job, and pretty much went broke when I signed a label because I didn't realize that, number one, that, when I sign a licensing deal, it doesn't mean that they're going to push me as hard as they normally would in a traditional deal. Second of all, I didn't get much of an advance. They barely gave me any advance. They gave me actually zero on the first deal. And so I quit my job and just started touring. We drove like 16 hours to the first show, which was the stupidest thing. All the shows, all the tours I had booked previously before that, we never did a show unless it was 2 hours, more than 2 hours away, because we wanted to make sure, the tour was connected and done well. Well, right when I quit my job and got signed, I had stars in my eyes. And I thought the label was going to do this and the label was going to do that. And yes, they did do some things. They helped me with radio. They helped me, get on some bigger tours and connected me with a booking agent and a manager. Definitely did some stuff, but there's a lot of stuff they didn't do. And I realized really quickly that the fact that I was, went from indie to a licensing deal, that I was still the architect of my life. I can't rely always on other people to just make my dreams a reality. But the one thing I will say the label did, and that was they got me distribution. They got me major distribution all across the U.S. And because they had distribution with EMI, which is now Universal, we ended up getting a deal in Japan. And Japan loved my album, and we ended up selling tens of thousands of albums there, and it was just crazy. And it breathed new life into my career. And I had signed a 3-record deal with this label, and when that 3 records was done, I kicked them out of the deal and did a direct deal with Japan. Okay, and we ended up selling tens and tens of thousands. Did lots of shows in Osaka, Fukuoka, Tokyo, and it was just a crazy time of my life. But I fired that label in the U.S. and went directly to Japan. All right, and then eventually we ended up just firing the label in the U.S. altogether because I ended up re-signing with them just for the U.S. and we had some success on radio. But then I realized, look, I can hire a radio promoter. I can hire a publicist. I can get the music video done myself. I can run YouTube ads. I can run Facebook ads. I can be in control, and then I own 100% of the music. The reason a lot of artists were struggling right now, especially during COVID and whatnot, because they're forced to tour. And guess what? They can't tour, and they weren't able to do shows. Hopefully it's going to ramp up really soon. Depending when you're watching this, it might start ramping up already, and you can start touring a lot and playing shows. But the reason I survived is because I owned my masters. I owned my music. A lot of artists did not own their own music and never will because they signed a contract that said in that contract, we own you for perpetuity, which means forever. For me, they owned my records for like 5 or 7 years, and then I got my records back. And once I got my records back, I fired them. And I released the records myself. I promoted the records myself. I took a risk on myself. And you got to take risks, right, Jackson? You got to take risks. If you insulate yourself from risk, you will insulate yourself from reward. You want someone else to believe in you, but you don't even believe in yourself. You won't take a risk. Some people say you can get a better loan from a drug dealer than you can from a record label. And the difference between, the mortgage you pay back with the label and the mortgage you pay back with the bank, when you pay back the bank the mortgage for your house, for instance, you own the house. But when you pay back the mortgage with the label, in most scenarios, unless it's a licensing deal, they still own your record, even though you've paid back the advance. And there's always a way for them to keep racking up those expenses and whatnot, and they don't give you proper reporting. So I want to encourage you, take a risk on yourself. You invest in yourself. Promote the junk out of a song. Do a real promotion where you go all in. Go all in on one song, because it's not albums that blow up. It's normally the songs on the albums. You only need one song to really change your life and to blow it up. But you need to go all in on that song. And the reason why labels normally win is because, they're willing to take risks. They're willing to take risks. They know they're willing for their bank account to go down for a while before it goes back up. But a lot of artists can't stomach the bank account going down for a while. You don't invest in yourself. You don't invest in a great song. You won't invest in good marketing. Like really going all in. This is the same reason why casinos win, is because not enough people that go to gamble, they don't go all in. They're too scared. But if all the big high rollers show up one day and they all go all in, then they can break the bank. So what you need to do is you need to break the bank as far as your music career and go all in on a song. Stop just tippy-toeing in and then waiting for something to happen. You want big results, but you're not willing to take big risks. I'm going to say that again. You want big results, but you're not willing to take big risks. And Jackson, you need to take big risks, right, buddy? Yes. You have to take big risks if you want a big reward. You got to take chances. You got to step out there. It's scary signing a radio campaign. It's scary hiring a publicist. It's scary, really spending money on YouTube ads or Facebook ads. But actually, you know what? That's the best ROI I've ever seen. You want to spend all this money on the record, you'll do that, but you spent it all on making this mediocre record and all these songs as opposed to skimming back and just making maybe one or two hit great songs, working with an A-level producer, getting A-level features, and then blowing those up. You'd rather spread out the budget to try to get more, but it's better to have less and have hits and promote those. It's the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, where 80% of your sales comes for 20% of your songs. I'm going to say that again. 80% of my sales and most hit big artists' sales, most of their sales comes from 20% of their songs, maybe 4 or 5 of their, hundreds of songs or whatever it is. It's so true. It's so true. Hope this video has helped you out.